What are we gonna do today, guys? Well, I'm going shopping here in a minute, shortly. But what we're gonna do today, we're gonna take a look back at the knife that launched this channel. Stick around, because you know he's gonna say something dumb. I'm here. Absolutely not, PDM. You do not get to. No, don't you dare do it. You're gonna get me in trouble with Anthony Marfino. Don't you start that music. Guys, I had to chase PDM down to get my phone back. Took all night. So it may look like it's a bright sunny day right now because I'm using my light, but right now it is kind of foggy, kind of crappy. But yes, what we are going to do, all joking aside, with Poor Decision Mike being here, we're going to talk about the Microtech DOC. Now this is the first knife I ever put on this channel. And I just thought, you know, a couple people had said that it would be cool if I revisited some of the stuff I'd already done. And so I thought, let's just start with the very first one. So obviously I still have the knife. I mean, it's easy to see. I still own the knife and I still love it. I still carry it. I carried it all day yesterday. That's what initiated the whole thing. So we're gonna talk about this knife a little bit. We're gonna try and keep PDM out of the mix because he's gonna screw things up. Because he's gonna be jumping in. I can hear him already jumping in. Didn't you have to fix the D10? Didn't you have? We'll get into all that. So yeah, Microtech DOC. Let's turn it around and we'll look at it. I know you've already seen it, but we're gonna take a look at it 4 years later and kind of see, maybe I can find some comparison. I can maybe steal some comparison clips from the original video and put them in. So let's turn it around and take a look. So this is going to be real quick because we've seen this knife a ton of times, and I did a pretty in-depth on the first one. So this is, I'm going to have a hard time seeing it. Let's turn the light down just a little bit and see if that helps. Might have been just a little too bright. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So as we can see, this is my 2015 Microtech DOC-M. Now, I don't think that they're marked M's anymore. At one point, they had 3 different models of this knife. They had an auto, had a manual, which is what this one is, and they had a double action. And I think that one was called the DOC Kill Switch, and that's the one I wanted. This was almost like a consolation prize. I did not like I didn't like the whole auto. The full auto one did not have a flipper tab. Didn't like it. The flipper tab actually becomes part of the integral part of the knife. This is one of those knives that has 2 distinct different grips, and they're both really comfortable. If you don't have that flipper tab, you only have one. This is the only way it's comfortable to really hold it with the auto version. So yeah, aluminum with, I'm told that this is supposed to be titanium, but as far as I can tell, this is steel. Aluminum, it had grip tape in here, tri-wing screws, Elmax blade, nice thick stock. If you hang on a second, I'll go get my scale because I don't think I ever weighed this in the original video. So hang on just a second. And so in comparison, well, let's take a look at this because as I'm looking at this, let's zero that out. It was reading 7 5/8 actually is what it is. 7 5/8, not 7 1/2. In comparison, my Sebenza, which is 4 7/8 ounces. Typically titanium knives are lighter than aluminum. I'm gonna stop you right there. Titanium knives are typically heavier than aluminum knives, is what I was trying to say, but obviously I got it turned around. Big reasoning B is titanium is heavier than aluminum, and typically when you pick up an aluminum knife, it feels a lot lighter. Case in point, the big one that I would point out would be the Ferrum Forge button lock Mordax in aluminum versus the button lock or frame lock Mordax in titanium. drastic difference in weight. So I apologize. I get in these videos and then I just kind of I screw up every once in a while. So a little step in during edit while PDM is doing his live feed. I say he's doing it out in the kitchen. I'm standing in the kitchen. That's silly. That's silly. Anyway, yeah, a little bit of a slip up. Aluminum knives are typically lighter than titanium knives. I flipped it. It happens. And I'm not going to go back and reshoot all of that. Figured I'd just step in and correct myself and not have to put up a title. There's a lot of heavy stuff. This is a big heavy chunk of what, like I said, as far as I can tell, it's a steel lock bar with an insert. It's a subframe lock. That's a big chunk here of material. So, I mean, it's a big, beefy, chunky knife that there's a lot of stuff on it that this doesn't have. So, size comparison wise, let's take a look. Everybody knows Sebenza. This is not a little knife, guys. Overall size, I mean, it's just a bigger knife than the Sebenza. You can't, I mean, blade width, blade thickness, all of it. It's just all around bigger. And so, comparison between the current oldest production knife in my collection versus the newest production knife in my collection. So that's just in there for fun because it happened to be in my pocket as we were doing this. But yeah, you can see I've carried this a lot. This has had a lot of carry. That the ano has held up incredibly well, guys. Like, you can't go wrong with Microtech's anodizing. I've thought about putting grip tape back in, but the fact is I kind of like that look. I could replace the grip tape. This got covered with diesel fuel one day, and just the grip tape just came apart. The pocket clip on mine is not the notorious FU clip, but as you can see, it is marked Anthony Marfione and Mick Strider because this is a collab. This is a collab piece between them. So let's turn this around and finish talking about it because I want to talk about my thoughts on this knife. Now, this is a 2015 model. As you can see, 2020, I've had this knife for almost 5 years. So let's turn around and talk about it a little bit. You gonna tell them about the detent problem you had? You gonna tell them? Because if you ain't gonna tell them, I'll tell them. I'll tell them. You don't? Are you? What are you soft in the head? Of course I'm gonna tell them. You know I'm gonna tell them. I already said I was gonna get back out of here. Get out of here. You're gonna get me in trouble. You really are gonna get me in trouble. Sorry, I had to run that big dummy off. He has some of the dumbest ideas. But this time he's not wrong. 5 years later, how do I still feel about this knife? I love this knife. I did, however, start to develop an issue with this knife over time. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that PDM was in charge of this entire evolution. And it was at a time when I was drinking a lot. So I allowed him to talk to Elliot and see if we could fix anything on this without looking at any other possible causes of the issue. What had happened was, so guys, this was absolutely not a Marfione. This was not a Microtech issue. This was 100% a me issue. I took the knife apart because I was having a lot of problems with the blade detent. Like, it didn't have one. Like, it would just fall open. So I took the blade out and we opened the detent ball up enough, and that kind of changed it, but I still had some weirdness, and sometimes I'd have detent, sometimes I didn't. What I didn't realize, guys, there's a screw under this pocket clip that is in your subframe lock. So your pocket clip screws. Well, I never checked the tightness of the pocket clip screws, and when I realized, oh man, my pocket clip's loose, after having done the detent repair, it made the detent almost too strong. I have since been able to adjust things, but yes, PDM is not wrong. I did have a detent issue, but it was not an issue with the knife. So 5 years later, this is still one of my all-time favorite knives. It is definitely I think this is my all-time favorite Microtech, and it definitely, until I got that Strider SMG, was the best Strider I had ever had. So what you have is a Mick Strider, Anthony Marfione collaboration we've talked about a bunch of times. Elmax blade, the beautiful factory done Nightmare grind, which is, it's Nightmare-esque. It is definitely more for looks than it is. Heavy blade, nice. When it's in your hand, you definitely know you've got something substantial in your hands. Pocket clip does have a little bit of a weirdness here, and I've thought about rounding that over, but all in all, it's part of the knife. It would detract from it. And sometimes when I've done things like that, where I've rounded those off, then it doesn't go in and out of the pocket quite as easily. That acts as a fabric ramp, I like to call it. It catches the fabric and forces it in your pocket. Thin pants, not a problem. Thicker pants, if you took that off, I think you'd have a problem, because the pocket clip on this has got some significant tension. Pocket clip, I can live with it. I definitely wish it was a little different. But all in all, no, this knife has never had an issue. No, get back in there. I heard you, I saw you pop your head up. PDM. The steel. The knife did have an issue with the steel. But it was not a critical flaw in the steel. What it was that the steel, I think, had gotten ground a little hot when it was sharpened, and it softened that steel a little bit. So when I first got the knife, it didn't hold an edge, and that was the same time that Jay Davis was going on with all of his LMAX stuff and had spoiled and sullied the world, the knife world, against LMAX. And I think there were some companies that were doing it wrong, some companies weren't. But this knife, after I sharpened it a couple times, no problem. This knife has held an edge well, it cuts well, it always is great. As you can see, I did ceramic and things on this. This knife definitely has failed warranty, but the guys at Microtech have seen it, and they find it amazing. So, how do I still feel about my first big production knife purchase that really showed me? Now, I'm gonna preface this by, this is the first knife that was on the channel. This is definitely not the first super high quality production knife I ever had. This is definitely the first overall extremely well done production knife that I had. But the reason that this is not the one we're doing a video about is that's the first knife we ever did. And this knife was amazing and still is. It's just that this knife just did not bring to the plate all the little bells and whistles that some of the other production knives I started seeing. That knife and this one combined showed me that I did not have to have super expensive folding knives, custom folding knives, to get the same level of quality. US made product. You guys always, I know that Super Steel Steve likes to say that I think that Chinese manufacturing is the way to go, and it's the cream of the crop and stuff like that. No, I still love to support American made products. What's going on, guys? My phone stopped. What I was saying is I love to support American made products. Microtech knives, their quality is even better now than it was then. Really, truly is. The Fiberlight Firestarter guys, all retired veterans. Hiking with a Viking, David over at Hiking with a Viking. He provides US made products that I then talk about here. It's not that, it's just that you just, for the price, a lot of American OEMs just are not doing it. And Microtech doesn't do OEM for other companies, because I definitely would say that that would be a way to go. The Microtech DOC, still one of my all-time favorite knives. And you can't go wrong with a knife whose name is Death on Contact. That's what DOC stood for. That was, you're like, wow, the Death on Contact kill switch. That's what I wanted. Didn't get one, got one of these instead. Still, hands down, one of the best purchases I ever made. And this was like 300 bucks, bro. Guys, 300 bucks when I purchased it. I don't know how much they are now. I don't know if they even still make them. But yeah, the knife that launched the channel, still in my pocket. As a matter of fact, it was in my pocket all day yesterday. That's what started. I got up and I put it in my pocket and I'd been carrying it around, and I was getting ready to go shopping, and I was like, hey, the other video is unsalvageable. I'm just gonna have to reshoot it. It's corrupt, so let's just do a whole new video, and hopefully this works. Because I'm worried, because I just had something happen on my phone that is real reminiscent of what I had happen when I was shooting the other video, but we shall see. Guys, if you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down. That's how we interact on this channel. There's gonna be the things in the corners. I'm still gonna put the Patreon link, but I would much rather have you guys use the join button or the join link and join the channel if you wanna support the channel that way. 2 tiers, we're doing all kinds of stuff. I got giveaway stuff we're doing. I'm going to shoot another video to replace the one that I promised you guys would be going up today. This video will go up as soon as I get it edited, probably this evening, for subscribers. And then I'm just gonna do a live feed. As soon as I break from here, I'm gonna do a quick live feed for content for today, because I promised a video going up today and it's not going up today. I could not salvage that video, and it's gonna take a little bit to reshoot it. Because I have to go through and review what I had said and done in that video. Like I said, guys, take care of yourselves, stay healthy. If you want to support the channel, there's a join link in the description, and there's also one on my channel. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. I hope you enjoyed the fun intro. I was trying to do something new. Take care of yourselves. I love you, and I'll talk to you later. Phone's not working. Watch isn't working. Again, always the end.